It's a match hardly needs any introduction. These two teams head to head. But this afternoon is South Melbourne welcome Heidelberg to Lakeside Stadium. It's a game with a little bit more meaning than even these clashes tend to provide, as two teams right on the cusp of finals football, but equally competing with one another as we look to cut the competition down to 4 teams over the next 6 weeks or so. Go head to head. NPLMVIC action. Thank you for your company. Round 17 clash. The behemoths of Victorian football underway. South of Melbourne CBD. Stadium. In excellent form. And quality scattered all over the park. Head to head in what promises to be a blockbuster of an encounter. Visitors Heidelberg, who've taken some territorial control. First shot coming in the first 10 or so seconds. Killy Lockhart firing well over the crossbar, but it hasn't stopped the Burgers, who have been on an almighty run. The reins as head coach. Shot away, it's blocked. She made contact. Back to their defence. First time in the game, Taylor Christensen gives South a bit of possession. Looking at the two lineups, a couple of changes made by each coach. South Melbourne foul, Lakeside, there aren't many big games in which to do it. Joining in the mid-season window alongside sister Leah Varley. Played an integral role in South Melbourne defence. Won the championship last season. Alongside Leah in the Melbourne City team, the most recent A-League women's season. NPLW level. On the bench. Possession of the middle for South Melbourne, held by Heidelberg player Emily Roach. And Christensen scuttle her way inside the area. Quickly cut out. In ball. Form that both of these teams had won their 5 previous NPLW games. So 2 teams who have not suffered many defeats at all over the last couple of months. And then of course well, after a promising opening minute from Burgers game. Possession. So we see Taranto playing it back to the debutant goalkeeper Varley. McKenna almost. O'Donoghue. One of the key cogs part of the last couple of months. Brisbane Raw player. Shot from Sophia Varley's goal. Sinus. Winston. Got the better. Was the score a Lily French goal of Christensen and Dragana Clay getting on. Although that isn't the only meeting that these 2 teams have had this season. So meet. project. Roosted with Preston. Good, yeah. We've seen plenty of the early possession being held in their own final defensive third. Patient with their build-up, both of these teams. Heidelberg in a crisp position here, not too far from the edge of the penalty area. Quick to mark the territory. She will be the one to deliver the set piece. Some competition. Sarah O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue goes. And direct, but over the bar. O'Donoghue mentioned has been so important since joining Heidelberg.
Does
Good goals for her name as well. Here's Emily Roach. Skips away past a couple of players. And in the end, the space was too limited. This is Roach. Went to the offside. Curtailed that attack. Janchevsky looking to skip around Papatsanis. Getting back to clear the ball away was Grace Taranto. Well, a good little spell for the Burgers over the last couple of minutes. Controlling the territory and just making life difficult for South Melbourne. Throw inside, Papatsanis read it best. Roach loses out to Vlahopoulos. Now Lockhart with the reverse ball, sends in O'Donoghue. And just about the South numbers were there to get the ball away. That was really nicely done by Grace Rapp. Taylor Christensen, though, unable to keep the attack going. Looking inside was Barrero. Yamano well positioned. Now Papatsanis cross inside all the way to the far side of the box. But the flag again is raised and it's a pure end to the South Melbourne attack. So 18 minutes gone at Lakeside. Still 0-0 between South Melbourne and Heidelberg. Well, it's been a fiercely contested start to this game. At the moment, though, both defences doing just enough to keep the opposition at bay. Taranto and Papatsanis work their way through the first stage. That Burgers press, although Sarah O'Donoghue was quick to recover. And combines with Miata. Just a little bit of momentum being built by the visitors over the last 5 or 10 minutes. South Melbourne trying to wrestle back some control. Well, that won't do them any favours as the Iamano pass goes right out for a Heidelberg throw. Mentioned a couple of draws that South Melbourne had over the last 2 weeks. Much more positive result last time out, a 5-0 win. Burundara. What was really an excellent showing. Keely Lockhart. The Heidelberg is seen as much of the ball as Sven Samuel would have liked. Getting 20 minutes of this one. Just see a little bit of a pause in play. A potential injury concern, hopefully nothing. Delay was very... It doesn't look as if it is anything for Sarah O'Donnell. For Heidelberg, this is Captain Steph Galea winning back the ball. Although tracking back effectively was Danielle Mikulev. And now they've got space on the right-hand side for Sophie Papatsanis, South Melbourne. And Christensen will resume her battle with Barrero. Cross inside was partly blocked, and that was enough for Heidelberg to come away with the ball. Played out to the right-hand side by Rakic. Her and Galea. Act. Down to the right-hand side. Really nice chain of combinations. Heidelberg from one end of the ground to the other. Enough players back to recover possession. The first 45 continues. Done a lot of their attacking down this right-hand side so far, South Melbourne. Know that Taylor Christensen is part of the South Melbourne attack. A little bit of that burden has been taken off number 9 over the last couple of months, which seems certainly more dynamic going forward. Consider what the likes of Taranto. The ball in play. Works away out of a tight area. Looks towards Steph Galea. Ray goalkeeping. Sophia Varley. Territorial pressure to Ferguson Post. Led to a whole lot of work for Sophia Varley up to this point. Required. Did. Very nicely indeed. Taranto's long ball. Task is for Mikulev. But a foul called on Liv Edwards. Just angle before she could get up the ball. Christensen away again. Still Taylor Christensen can go herself if she wants. It was a brilliant slide challenge though. Olivia Edwards had to time that one perfectly. They did. Just as you saw. So now South Melbourne will get a crack from the corner. It's Emily Roach who will send it in. It's into the middle of the box. The header comes in from Taylor Christensen, who played a key role in South Melbourne's goal from a corner last week against the Essendon Royals. That time, though, the finishing touch wasn't there. And that was just about as clean an opportunity as either team have had in the opening 25 minutes. Roach sets away Mikolev. Goes the cross first time. It was off balance as she hit it, and there is a bit of a breeze here at Lakeside, and that contributed to taking the ball behind for a Heidelberg goal kick. Well, the way this game has played out so far, very much reflective of how even the competition is, particularly towards the top end of the table in NPLW Victoria. They both look like confident teams too. They've withheld periods of pressure very admirably. Throw-in taken short for Christensen. Looks inside towards Westland, who couldn't trap the ball. And sent out by Vlahopoulos for another South Melbourne throw. No shortage of involvement for Sophie Papatsanis on her return to the starting 11 for South Melbourne. This time goes backwards with the throw towards Grace Taranto. And Keely Lockhart blocking the pass Franny Amano was attempting. Lockhart, who scored 2 of those Heidelberg goals last week. He's putting together some kind of season, is Keely Lockhart. Leading goal scorer for Heidelberg with 10 to her name. It's been a highly impressive set of performances from the Burgers forward. That long ball, Mia Bailey was always going to get there first. Mano again, not for the first time this afternoon, just overhitting the pass. Frustration after what's been a good few minutes for the hosts. That throw not going exactly to plan. I think it was for Maddie Rakic on that far side, just slipping out, and she was throwing it back in play. So Christensen dropping deep to support her team in the build-up. Goes long and direct. It's a good ball as well to set away Emily Roach. Draws in the tackle from Edwards. Still going is Roach. Brought down, and it is a foul just outside the penalty area. Effectively done by Roach. Camberero not exactly thrilled with the decision. So from the edge of the area, it will be Taylor Christensen to deliver the ball. Goes low. Cleared away initially. Still searching is Taylor Christensen. The Heidelberg numbers prevail. Now Lockhart. A good touch to set herself away, Keely Lockhart. Still charging forward. Challenge came in from Rapp. You saw the idea with the quick ball, maybe looking towards Steph Galea. And we've ticked past 30 minutes now at Lakeside. Both teams remain locked at 0-0. This is Janchevsky. To poke it through for Galea. For the first time this afternoon, it's the defending team who wins the battle. O'Donoghue. Westland. Now Lockhart. McKenna eventually takes the ball away from her defenders. But only to around the halfway point for Heidelberg reassert their control. Guerrero, the target of the through ball. And Christensen putting on the afterburners to get back in time. And the combination of Christensen and Papatsanis allay the danger, at least for the moment. O'Donoghue towards Janchevsky. Marty Janchevsky gets the cross in. That was real danger. And a brave clearance from Grace Rapp. How many times have we seen that kind of defensive act attempted, only for the ball to end up in the back of the net? Rapp executed well and instead concedes a corner. It'll be Alana Janchevsky who will move on over to deliver. The likes of O'Donoghue and Barrero on the edge of the area. It is O'Donoghue who's the target. It was a nice move, and O'Donoghue made contact on the first attempt. Certainly didn't strike it as sweet as she was aiming for. And it's a fairly comfortable defence for South Melbourne of that set-piece routine. Sviavalu, who's navigated the first half hour or so of the South Melbourne career without any damage to show. See that crossfield ball from Vlahopoulos missing its mark, so that'll allow Iamano to play through Westland. Westland, well, O'Donoghue didn't give her the space to breathe, so the Burgers come away with the ball. Had a good first half, Sarah O'Donoghue. So we'll get back underway with Mia Bailey making her way up the pitch to deliver the ball into the Burgers' forward half. Just a little bit of a nudge from Rapp, but nothing illegal according to our referee. And now Taylor Christensen can charge down the right-hand side. Looks centrally towards McKenna. Now Roach. Headed out by Edwards. Papatsanis. Catherine Vlahopoulos supporting her defence. Both teams remaining patient, trying to pick their way through what is proving to be a very stubborn defence at either end. Well, unless we see a dramatic change in the trajectory of this game in the final 10 minutes of the half, that will be the story as we head into the break. Not a lack of ambition from either team, just a failure to get through the opposition defence. See Danny Galuccio and Maddie Rakic exchanging passes. That's a dangerous giveaway. And now Taylor Christensen, the ball's fallen perfectly to her. The shot was right into the gloves of Mia Bailey. Well, Christensen's had probably the two best chances of the first half so far. And that one right there, she got plenty of power behind the shot. It was straight at the opposition goalkeeper. So the Burgers get away with one. Edwards hoofs it up towards Keely Lockhart. And Sophia Varley is able to come and pick up the ball. As South Melbourne continue the good spell they've been having the last little while. Ella Seward's attempting to set away Iamano. Westland looks up towards Roach. The flick on finds its way towards Sewards. The ball inside. Nicolaf got the shot away. Final touch looks to have come off Edwards, who remained tight to the striker. So it'll be another corner for South Melbourne. And well, at the end of the day, both teams have had plenty of possession in and around the opposition penalty area. Say it's really only South Melbourne who have been able to convert that into any kind of looks at goal. And some of those coming from Heidelberg errors rather than their own play in the build-up. Roach's corner sent in. Header finds its way to the feet of Grace Taranto, who puts it into the net, gives South Melbourne the lead. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. And it's an unlikely source who gives South Melbourne the lead. Grace Taranto up for the corner. And well, when it fell to her feet, just a couple of metres out of goal, she was unlikely to pass up that chance. It's the fourth goal of the season for Grace Taranto. And South Melbourne had themselves a handy lead, and one that you'd probably say, at least in reference to the quality of chances that each team has had, South Melbourne probably deserved their lead. Now McKenna goes in towards Micallef, but Edwards was nicely positioned, and the ball through is a good one for Steph Galea. For the instant reply for Heidelberg, it's a great save from Varley. The chance though is still alive is Lockhart. And in the end, Rapp concedes the corner. And this game has sparked to another gear just in the last couple of minutes. Well, it was lovely play from Liv Edwards to set Steph Galea away. Sophia Varley, though, credit to the goalkeeper, was quick off her line. But now it is the Burgers who have themselves a corner. Ball ends up on the far side. And attempting to keep the chance alive was Rakic. But instead the ball rolls out for a South Melbourne goal kick. Question very much becomes, what do Heidelberg have by way of a response? Still got time to pull themselves back level before the break. Right at the moment, things going the way of the host South Melbourne. Now Sewards for South Melbourne. Looks towards Mikulev, who goes for goal. It's always going to be tough to beat Bailey from that angle. And indeed, the Heidelberg shot stopper confidently claims the ball and looks to get her team on the attack as quickly as possible. Does so with the long ball high up the field. Right now, you sense this game is going precisely the way that George Georgiadis would have wanted. Heidelberg have mounted comebacks in this winning run on which they've been the last couple of months. I think in that game against Preston, right near the start of Sven Samuel's tenure. So they are more than capable of dragging themselves back into this contest. Right at the minute, the way that this game is going, and the direction in which the momentum is flowing, you sense that Heidelberg might be content to just go into the break 1-0 down, reset, and come out with a renewed approach for the second 45. Misha Westland, though, may have other ideas. Sophie Papatsanis has possibly stolen a couple of metres with the throw. And that ball from Westland sails straight out for a goal kick. So as we approach the end of the 45, We wait to see how much stoppage time may be played. Be at the discretion of our referee. Well, it's something we've seen too often from Heidelberg, that just long boot into the middle of the park from the goal kick. Just suggests perhaps that Heidelberg not wanting to take any unnecessary risks in the dying stages of this first half. Romano's throw towards Roach doesn't pan out, but it matters not. That's half time at Lakeside. It's South Melbourne who head into the break with the 1-0 lead. Grace Taranto with the finishing touch following a corner just over 5 minutes before the break. And so, in this significant encounter between two huge clubs, it's Heidelberg with all the work to do in the second half. Be sure to join me for it around about 15 or 20 minutes. The break here at Lakeside. Scoreline reads South Melbourne 1, Heidelberg 0. Yeah, sorry about that. I just sounded.
I think the audio is just cutting out every now and then.
Okay, yeah.
It's probably on the table, but
Might, yeah. So, I think that's what it was, yeah. I don't know. Welcome back to Lakeside for the second half of this gargantuan meeting between South Melbourne and Heidelberg. At the break, it is the hosts, South Melbourne, who have themselves a 1-0 lead thanks to a Grace Taranto goal following a corner. Well, as a result, as things stand, South Melbourne and the rest of the top four making the move away from Heidelberg. The results filtering in from around the grounds after Essendon Royals' 2-1 win last night. Boleyn proving too strong for FV Emerging at the home of the Matildas. 3-1 the full-time score there. What was that thought as Killy Lockhart puts the ball into the mixer and it catches a deflection on its way through. So it will be an early corner for the visitors Heidelberg. As well as that Boleyn win, Preston 3-1 up against Bentley at half-time down at Kingston Heath. So looking very much as if the other teams in the top five alongside these two will be picking up the wins, which adds to the importance of this result even more. And Heidelberg are looking for an early route back level in this second half. Janchevsky sends in the cross and it snuck its way in at the near post. Well, an unbelievable goal. South Melbourne will require an inquest as to what happened at that front post. But Heidelberg don't care. And Alani Janchevsky's cross has found its way all the way in to the back of the net. It's 1-1 at Lakeside. Game very much on. Well, an unbelievable moment, really. It was Steph Galea who came short just to provide another option, and Alani Janchevsky bypassed that option, went herself. And after plenty of things to be optimistic about from their first half performance, South Melbourne, it's about the worst possible start from George Georgiadis' perspective. Well, the good news from a neutral perspective is that we're back level, and thus both teams will really have to play if they want all 3 points. Just to finish our point from before, with Boleyn and Preston both picking up their wins. If things remained as they were at half-time with South Melbourne 1-0 ahead, it would mean that Heidelberg would finish the weekend on 29 points, whilst, well, pending goal difference, whoever was in fourth place would be on 34 points. So a 5-point gap would open up with just 5 games remaining this season. So crucial really for the Burgers if they want to keep their finals hopes alive. They find a way to at least get something out of this game. And they're already back level in this second half. Well, there's no ideal goal to concede if you're a goalkeeper, but I don't think Sophia Varley will be looking back too fondly on that replay as the first goal she conceded in a South Melbourne kit. Alani Janchevsky, even when you don't expect it, she's capable of making something happen. Certainly make the ball do the talking. And so, whatever plan South Melbourne had coming into this second half, you'd imagine it's been rather heavily disrupted by that early Heidelberg goal. And it is the Burgers who've got all the early momentum. Looking to end that is Grace Taranto sending the ball out to the left-hand side. This is Bella Sewards. Looks to cut in on the right. Sewards goes herself. Just about getting down to make the save was Mia Bailey. The second half picking up where the first left off. Last 5 or 6 minutes, probably the most entertaining, as things really burst into life after that South Melbourne goal. Right now, things heading in one direction, and that is in Heidelberg's favour. Throw in taken short. Emily Roach will come away with the ball for the hosts. Goes inside towards McKenna, who looks up towards Westland. Cut out nicely by O'Donoghue. And now Rapp is asked to chase. Gets there first and back to Varley. That was well navigated by Grace Rapp. And now South Melbourne can once again look to make their way forward. Askamiata there, cutting it out. Playing it out towards Lockhart. And now the long ball over the top is a good one. O'Donoghue gets the shot away. Offside. However, well, whatever Sven Samuel said to his team at halftime has clearly done the trick. They have come out with a renewed vigour. And they are putting their hosts right under the cosh at the minute. This is a fixture that, despite South Melbourne winning the earlier meeting in the league between these two teams, Heidelberg have well and truly had the better of South in the NPLW in recent years. It's quite surprising when you consider that for the duration of NPLW history, it's South Melbourne who have twice as many wins as the Burgers. This is Iamano getting the cross in. And the Burgers defence scrambling back, concedes the corner. Just to finish that point, despite the number of wins that South have had, 10 wins to Heidelberg's 5 in league meetings between these two teams in the NPLW era. This would be for South a first win at Lakeside against Heidelberg since July 2021. So 3 years since they last were victorious in this specific meeting. Cross-in is a decent one as well. And the follow-up was Letitia McKenna. Never quite had her body in the right position to get the venom behind that strike that she needed. Of course, a draw doesn't do a whole lot of good for either of these teams when all of the other teams in the top 5 have picked up wins. We just put both of them further back, although really from a Heidelberg perspective it might be an acceptable result when you consider that they'll remain just 2 points behind South, and of course it's only one of the teams above them that they'll need to pick to a top 4 spot if they want to play finals Heidelberg. All sent up by Barrero. Now O'Donoghue makes some space on her right. Sarah O'Donoghue unleashes a belter from long range. Heidelberg have turned this game on its head in under 10 minutes of second half football, and Sarah O'Donoghue with a peach of a strike to put the Burgers in front for the first time this afternoon. And well, you don't strike them a whole lot sweeter than Sarah O'Donoghue just did there. A brilliant goal. And things have so dramatically reversed in just about 9 minutes of play that we've had since the restart. Sarah O'Donoghue, one of the key architects of the Heidelberg revival. That her third goal in Heidelberg colours. And so it was South who asked the question of Heidelberg to respond at half-time. But that question has been very quickly turned back onto South Melbourne. This is Bella Seward's, whose first touch was a little bit too heavy. Now Danny Galluccio to step in. Throw in sent towards Westland. McKenna that time doing enough to win the ball back from O'Donoghue. Now Roach. Pretty physical coming together with Janchevsky. Referee happy to let play continue. See Taranto and Lockhart going head to head. Taranto had enough strength to protect the ball. Well, the problem for South Melbourne that has persisted in this first 12 minutes, they just really haven't been able to get out of their own half. They did have that little spell right after the first goal. But otherwise, it's been all Heidelberg. Just a reminder that this would be an 8th win in 9 games under Sven Samuel if Heidelberg were to go on and claim the 3 points. And it would also be the win which sends Heidelberg inside the top 4. An extraordinary achievement when you consider how things stood a couple of months ago. Vlahopoulos plays it to Miata, who looks forward to Lockhart. Lockhart's cross inside. Beats everyone who was in the middle of the box, but Matty Rakic was there to mop up. Cross inside. McKenna with the initial header. And South Melbourne get the ball clear. And now this is Franny Iamano. The reverse pass towards Mikolev. It was too clever even for South Melbourne striker. A nice idea from Franny Iamano. Daniel Mikolev has struggled really to have a major impact in this game. She's not a player who regularly is really running games from the striking position, and much more so picks her moments to make a big impact with the goals. Does have a decent record at this venue. Think back to when these teams met a couple of years ago. And Mikolev scored a brace when they met at Lakeside in August. And those being a couple of the 5 goals that she scored in the fixtures between these two teams in that year that she went on to win the Golden Boot. Well, of course, that was in the yellow of Heidelberg rather than the blue of South Melbourne that she now wears. Well, if she could find a way to get herself a brace this afternoon, it would add this game to folklore in her career. Coming up against her former team. That feels a long way, or a long stretch, just with the way things are going right at the moment. Letitia McKenna looks to change that. Out towards Sewards, who plays through Westland. Still going is Misha Westland. Danny Galuccio left a foot in for the challenge and consequently prompted the referee's whistle. Not a huge surprise that we've seen goals at either end in this afternoon's game when you consider that, well, South have only failed to score in one of their NPLW games this season, and for Heidelberg it's just the 2. So both of these teams are almost a guarantee of goals when they take to the field, and we've seen that in the first 61 or so minutes of this game. Ball delivered by Roach, but punched clear by Mia Bailey. And that header was into the path of Vlahopoulos, who wasn't able to control the ball. Attempted the exchange between Janchevsky and Lockhart is short-lived. This is Janchevsky again. Cops a pretty firm shove from Emily Roach. It'll be Liv Edwards to launch the ball upfield. That one fell into the path of Askamiata, who was maybe a little bit ambitious, saw Sarah O'Donoghue's goal and figured she might try one-up it. Didn't quite pan out how she had planned, though. Rakic back to Miata. We asked a lot of Vlahopoulos with that pass. Almost 20 minutes played in this second half, and it has whizzed by. Heidelberg playing some breathless football up to this point. Christensen now sets away Mikulev. Nearly slid it under the on-rushing Mia Bailey. It wouldn't have counted as the offside flag was raised. Credit to the goalkeeper, though, who was, of course, not to know that. But got to the ball very quickly and made it a tough finish for Mikulev, who wasn't able to squeeze it under her opponent. Janchevsky for the Burgers. Sets away O'Donoghue. Looks to have won the corner. Well, this second half could hardly have gone better from Sven Samuel's perspective. A couple of goals, just the general play. His team have been the better side, there's no doubt about that. And they are pressing down on the throat of South Melbourne right at the minute. This corner taken short, with Steph Galea presenting as an option. Here is Galea, who gets the shot on goal. That one rolls harmlessly wide of the post though. So as things stand, a quick fire double. Milana Janchevsky and Sarah O'Donoghue. We'll see Heidelberg leapfrog South Melbourne into the top 4. And with just 5 games remaining after tonight, the Burgers may well prove to be a mighty threat towards the pointy end of the season. Both of these teams have, at least on paper, fairly friendly looking runs home. Heidelberg playing just one more top 5 team in the regular season. They'll meet Preston in a few weeks' time. Now coming in the last game of the season, in fact, for Heidelberg, while South Melbourne don't play any of the top 5 teams after today. So from a South perspective, they were able to win this afternoon. They'd be putting themselves in a really healthy position to not just finish in the top 4, but make a late charge to maybe even challenge Berlin. But as things stand, that will certainly not be the case, and they'll have bigger things to worry about sitting outside of a finals position. Coming together, Liv Edwards in her attempt to clear the ball. We'll just have a little break in players. It's a player from each team on the deck. See if Liv Edwards is quite comfortable, back on her feet and continuing, so we'll certainly hope there aren't any major injury concerns still lingering. So he looks to be Sophie Papatsanis, who is a player suffering a little, looking a little worse for wear right at the moment. He's been a really important part of South Melbourne's play throughout tonight's game, Sophie Papatsanis. So hopefully she'll be able to get herself back onto the pitch after some running repairs. Although, with the action or the movement on the bench, it looks as if George Georgiada is indeed seeing this as the right opportunity to make some changes to his personnel and try get a response. There's around about 20 minutes left on the clock. It does look as if it is the end of the afternoon for Sophie Papatsanis. It's a real shame. And just for the moment, South continuing with 10 players. So we'll wait for the next change in play where they'll be able to get themselves back to the full complement of 11. Looks as if Dragana Klajic is readying herself to try and make an impact in the final 20 minutes of action. That substitution is made. Who scored when these two teams met at Olympic Village back in round 6, along with Taylor Christensen. And Georgiadis would certainly love if she were able to replicate that feat in the remainder of this game. Maddie Rakic sends the ball long and it beats everyone and out for a Sophia Varley goal kick. Which was the target of that pass from Rapp, but it only found its way to O'Donoghue. Rakic with the body feint. Now Miata out towards Galea. Galea keeps the ball in play, finds a teammate with the cross. Keely Lockhart though unable to generate the power she needed to beat Sophia Varley. That was a huge opportunity for South Melbourne, or for Heidelberg I should say, to potentially wrap up the 3 points. This is Taranto. Now Roach. Miata did enough to, in the end, win the ball back for her team as it goes out for a Heidelberg throw. And they will take this opportunity to look to their bench. And a couple of changes incoming. It looks as if Catherine Vlahopoulos is one of the players to take her leave. And Maddie Rakic may well be the other. So Margot Rabin has been brought into the game, taking the place of Vlahopoulos. Whilst Rakic's withdrawal allows Sienna Weston. So the two players who started last week but not tonight, Sienna Weston and Margot Rabin, brought on for the final phase of this game. And with their team poised for what would be just about the biggest 3 points that they've managed to get all season. Long ball over the top, looks to set away Christensen. Initial touch, lifts the ball over her opponent, but Bailey was there to get onto the ball. Rather dramatic fall to the ground as well when she had it clasped to her chest. Strong turn from Roach. In towards Mikolev. A really important challenge put in there by Olivia Edwards, who's had an outstanding afternoon. Certainly justified her place in the starting 11 in this game. 15 minutes left for South Melbourne. They are to salvage something from this game. As things stand, it looks as if Heidelberg's really strong record at Lakeside will continue. And their run of being undefeated here against South would extend over the 3-year mark. And well, even since Heidelberg have gone in front in this game, the challenge for South of controlling some of the territory, getting out of their own half, has remained persistent. This is Roach. Pass out. It wasn't a convincing first touch from Weston, but there were enough numbers for the Burgers to rescue the ball and get it back to Mia Bailey. Yamano now looks towards Mikulev. Well, it's been a number of occasions in this game that Danielle Mikulev has been caught offside. Has not been her afternoon thus far. And if it is to be at some point, it'll have to happen soon. Under 15 minutes of regulation remain. Bailey sends it up. Rabin with the flick on header. As far as Rapp. Now Christensen. Still going, Taylor Christensen. And wins the throw for her team. So perhaps will they finally be able to pin back their opposition somewhat, South Melbourne. Allow themselves to really build that pressure. They don't last long as Heidelberg very quickly make the run out of their defence. That will continue now with Galuccio. In combination with Bailey. That pass though into the path of Klajic. Klajic going first time, probably the right decision with the goalkeeper out of position. Really didn't make the right kind of contact. And so, you get the sense that Heidelberg just starting to slow the pace of the game down somewhat. Not pushing as hard for that third goal as they were 10 or 15 minutes ago. It felt like a real possibility. It has been Heidelberg's half. But it could yet be a game where South Melbourne get something from it. They've got themselves a free kick now. Free kick to be delivered by Taranto. It's the header of Edwards. Taranto looked for a moment like she might get another crack. And it's the Burgers who come away with the throw. Another aptly defended set piece. Burgers who next week will return home to the village where they'll welcome Box Hill and look to, well, potentially solidify their spot in the top four. Just with the way the scoreline stands at the minute for South Melbourne, they'll hit the road and travel out to the Ven where they'll take on Burundara. You see Georgiadis making use of his bench again. It's the end of the afternoon for Taylor Christensen. A player whose influence really did wane in the second half, really as did most of her teams. Now McKenna for South Melbourne. Tries to thread the needle, playing it through Emily Roach. Put up into the air by Klaich. Now this is McKenna out to the right-hand side. Cross blocked by Barrero. So there is a South Melbourne corner to come. Does look as if the player brought on to replace Taylor Christensen is Georgia Candelas, a 21-year-old, former junior here at South Melbourne. And will provide that attacking threat down the right-hand side. Corner sent in, finds its way to the feet of Grace Rapp this time. Her centre-back partner scored in the first half. That one a more difficult assignment. And Rapp directed it towards goal, but wasn't able to keep it down. And so it's another situation survived for Heidelberg as they continue to creep closer to the 3 points. Well, we will just have a pause and play following that last run down the left-hand side. Looks as if Sarah O'Donoghue's good to continue though. Saw her ambition on display with that last move. Well, as another free kick goes the way of Heidelberg. South Melbourne now staring down the barrel. What would be a first defeat in almost 2 months. You have to go back to the 20th of April to find the last time that they took no points from a fixture. That one was also here at Lakeside, where the Essendon Royals got the better of them. South Melbourne somewhat made amends last week at Cross Keys by taking a point in their second meeting of the season with the Royals. They may well find themselves on the losing end tonight. Unless that is, there is to be a late response. Just over 5 minutes of regulation remaining. Some rain has arrived just in the last minute or so at Lakeside. It's been a cool evening, but a dry one up to this point. Margot Rabin. Plays it centrally. Galea was the target. A real danger clearance from Sophia Varley. Galea did not give up the ghost and very nearly was rewarded for it. Lockhart. And now Taranto sends it out towards Dragana Klajic. Too much on the ball. And the frustration continues to build for South Melbourne. George Georgiades, as you can see, nervously pacing his box. We would have envisaged this game going a very different way once he got to half-time with his team in control, and probably deservingly so. For that first 10 minutes of the second half from Heidelberg, at the moment, he's looking like it will make the difference. Sienna Weston takes the throw. Charging through is O'Donoghue. Moves across inside it, forced away of Galea, who goes with a pretty impressive outside of the boot long range attempt. That would have been right out of the very top drawer of goals if she'd been able to pull that one off, Steph Galea. Lockhart. Shot was blocked. Heidelberg will be happy to take off more and more seconds off the clock. Just with these kinds of repeat throw-ins, South Melbourne haven't really threatened all half. It would be a real sucker punch if they were to grab a goal in these final few minutes. Heidelberg can offer themselves some protection from that eventuality if they were to get themselves a third. Margaret Rabin, though, shows no interest in that, at least not at the moment. And is happy to just draw the tackle and another throw. Yata looks towards Weston. Now O'Donoghue. Out towards Liv Edwards. Potential in transition for South Melbourne. But as ever, the numbers get back and converge for Heidelberg. We've reverted in the last half hour or so of this game to what we saw right at the beginning, which was two well-marshalled defences getting the better of their opposing attacks. Oh, that's a very comfortable dynamic if you're a Heidelberg associated person right at the moment. Well, there have been a number of shouts for handball throughout this second half. This time, the referee is convinced, dishes out the yellow card. I believe that yellow card going the way of Grace Rapp. Hasn't been a particularly poor-tempered game by any stretch. Milani Anchevsky now stands over the free kick. Goes herself from a long way out. Well, our angle isn't the best to see how far that was from sneaking in at the post. You saw it had some lovely shape and plenty of venom as well. Milani Anchevsky, one of the few players in the competition who you'd think could threaten from that kind of distance. Here she is again, Janchevsky. And now Rabin. He's done a lot of that since coming on, just been happy to hold up the ball. Looks to have won a throw on that far side. We are now into second half stoppage time. And it is certainly now or never for South Melbourne. They just don't look very likely to get that equalising goal at the minute. Steph Galea hoping to ghost in at the far post and add that third goal. But the offside flag denied her from doing so. And so here is South Melbourne's chance. Picked it up by Iamano. Takes the throw short towards Taranto, but Galea was there. So Galea, who's had a very good second 45. Been more involved than she was in the first half. And winning the ball back again was Janchevsky. I should say Margot Rabin. Westland sends the ball up. This is Taranto now. Made the run up forward. Took it upon herself. Probably wasn't the right decision from that kind of distance. Maybe reflective of just the frustration that South have endured in this second half. They've hardly had a look at goal. South Melbourne throwing everything at this now. Westland. Good turn to create some space. Just as she sent it in, it came out just as quickly. Still South Melbourne continue their late surge. Just need to get it into a more dangerous area. That final third for the Burgers remains effectively unimpeded. And now Keely Lockhart can break. As Rabin in the middle goes herself, Keely Lockhart. Still Keely Lockhart to put the icing on the cake. Goes across the face of goal. And Letitia McKenna tracking back in the last line of defence. Keeps the door ever so slightly ajar. And South Melbourne do win themselves a free kick. Is there time for South to go forward? Maybe one final time. George Georgiades, you see, playing ball boy. Getting back there and encouraging his team. Ball sent up. Guerrero beats out Candelas. And as Rabin picks up the ball, looks inside towards Lockhart. And Miata happily sends the ball towards one of the least dangerous parts of the pitch from a Heidelberg perspective. They may well have done enough, the Burgers. They were 1-0 down at half-time. That Grace Taranto goal giving South Melbourne the lead. But 8 minutes of lightning football from Heidelberg may well be enough for them to improbably jump inside the top four. goal from Sarah O'Donoghue would be a worthy winner. Roach lifts it forward. This is the chance for McKenna. The block came in though. Nicely defended by Galuccio. And that is full time. The Sven Samuel revolution continues. Heidelberg United are inside the top 4. They've leapfrogged South Melbourne, defending champions, who will drop to 5th. The 2 goals in the space of 8 minutes at the start of the second half make the difference for the Burgers. An extraordinary couple of months, and they may now be on their way towards finals football with just 5 games remaining after tonight. For South Melbourne, they'll need to rebound. Their first defeat in almost 2 months. They're still very much in the finals conversation. We'll go into next week just a point outside the top 4. But with plenty of work to do for Georgiadis' team. That's full time here at Lakeside. An incredible win for Heidelberg. Full time score, South Melbourne 1, Heidelberg United 2.